What's good, Super Riders? If you've been around this channel for a minute, you may realize that we've renamed everything on the channel, and I promise it's for a really good reason. I want to tell you about my vision for this channel and how I think I can make an even bigger impact on the sport of trials. I've been a trials rider as long as I can remember, and although there have been some really incredible moments where the entire world took notice of trials, it's never actually sustained. Trials has never even been really a priority in the bike industry. Do you think the barrier to entry is too high because our sport is difficult? I truthfully think that trials is easier and maybe slightly safer to learn than skateboarding. A big reason why I started this channel in the first place was to demystify trials and make it easy for people to learn all the basic skills so they could get started. But then I started thinking about the things that got me excited when I was a younger rider. And of course, there were videos from guys like Ott P and from Hans Ray, and those videos really kind of got people going. But there was one other thing that got me the most excited, and that one thing was called Super Rider. Super Rider was the name of a segment in a larger Japanese game show, and they would make these notoriously difficult courses, and they would bring in the best riders in the world to ride them. Now, each course would have kind of a theme to it, and if you made it to the end of the course, which sometimes people did, sometimes they didn't, all the great game show stuff of confetti and dry ice and all that stuff would happen. The audience would go wild. As a young rider, I wanted to be on Super Rider so bad, but unfortunately they only filmed like 5 or 6 episodes of this show, and then it was lost forever. Now that we're well on our way to creating and developing this encyclopedia of trial skills on the channel, I'm going to start putting more effort into bringing Super Rider to life. And that's the reason for the new name, for the rebrand. It's an intention for the future of bike trials. My vision is to create courses that are inspired by the original, to bring riders together and to take things well beyond what I saw when I was growing up. The amount of creativity that's out there, the amount of skill and the progression that this sport has seen, I truly believe this is the way forward. And I think the impact that this might have will be well beyond just another sick riding video that we could put out. My goal is to make something that all trials riders can benefit from and to give them a real platform to stand on. I believe that if we can do this the right way, the entire sport of trials will see a huge positive impact. So the basic idea, how is this all going to work? What do you want to do? Is to bring a handful of the best riders together. And I want to be able to tell their stories throughout a season so you can follow along with them and get to know them a bit more off the bike as well, so that you're really cheering them on, not just their riding. And what I want to do for the competitive format would be kind of 3 different parts. The first part is the speed trials to actually rank everybody in order, so the person who finishes the fastest gets to go last so they can watch everybody else kind of make mistakes and figure stuff out. If you're not familiar with what a speed trial is, speed trials is a format of trials where you rip through a section as fast as possible. The courses are usually a little bit more flowy and a little bit easier so that you can kind of ride through it without having to think too hard about each one of the bits of the section. They're really fun to watch though, because it's like fast trials. But it's kind of a cool way to rank everybody and get them teed up so that when they get into the actual Super Rider course, they have some kind of reasonable start order, and there's a reason why this person's going first and this person's going last. Then of course you have the bread and butter, the main bit, Super Rider, these thematic courses where, you know, it's designed with these different themes in mind, and it's something that's crazy hard and interesting and maybe something that the riders haven't ridden before. And hopefully one of them makes it through and wins. And then after that, we go into kind of a jam session. And the jam session is just maybe picking out a feature on the course or doing something kind of interesting where we have a session on that feature and everybody throws down their best stuff and tries new tricks and pushes each other's level. Honestly, the thing that I liked the most when I was competing was not actually the competition or the results or any of that kind of stuff. It was always the session before the contest and after the contest where you get together with your friends, you would ride on a section and you would just try to progress as much as possible. You'd push each other's levels, you'd get everybody out of their comfort zones, they'd be trying new things. Maybe somebody learned a new trick while they were away and they're bringing it back to show you what they can do. That for me was the most exciting bit at every single competition, and I want to bring that back as well. I love every single video that comes out. I love watching competitions. All the stuff that we're doing in trials right now is really, really cool. But I just feel like there's one thing that's missing that could help trials reach its full potential. And I believe that this Super Rider concept could be exactly that, and that's what I'm after. In any case, that's the dream, and that's the goal. I hope that you love it as much as I do, and I hope that you'll help me and back me up to make this thing happen. I believe we can do it, and I think it's going to have a huge impact on the sport. So let's find out.